Pivoting from surviving to thriving with Tillman. Real stories, real growth.
Yeah, so for those of you that, 10th, 11th grade, there's some funding, there's grant money out there for young black men like you all to be able to go to trade school for 2 years anywhere in the state of Tennessee, basically for free. The only requirements that they have basically is you have to do a certain amount of, I think it's 20 hours now.
It's 15 community service.
Yeah. Well, I thought they had went up. But the 15 community service hours, right? And fill out, the paperwork. So that's an easy ticket. That's an easy free ticket, to a successful foundation if you choose not to want to go to college. So we definitely want to, throw that out there so that you all know that, man, there are some options out there. A whole lot of times our people, they're destroyed because of a lack of knowledge. Oh, ain't no resources, ain't no help. But that's why, situations like this, these circles are important so that we can bounce information off one another. How many of y'all had never heard of FAFSA before tonight? Raise your hand. FAFSA. You see what I'm saying? So, that's what this is for, man. So we can share information. It's important. You got a question, Cedric?
I was going to say what fasting means.
Huh?
I was going to say what fasting means, but you were still talking.
Okay, what do it mean?
Fasting is...
No, not fasting, FAFSA. I'm talking about grant for college, not fasting. Okay, you misheard. It's okay, it's cool.
It's federal student aid.
Huh?
It's federal student aid.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is, student aid. It's financial aid. We're going to talk about what forgiveness look like. We're going to talk about what release look like. We're going to talk about what letting go look like, right? So basically, we're going to talk about what forgiveness look like, what release look like, and what letting go look like in the midst of a conflict. A conflict that transpired. You done had words with somebody. The situation then got heated, but the situation never turned physical. Nobody passed no blows. Everybody just passed words, right? So what does that look like when it comes to forgiveness, releasing, and letting it go? What does that look like to you?
Forgiveness probably be like, say you get into it with a family member, and then how certain families, they had an end of family beef. Like it'll be this cousin versus this cousin, they mama was into it with each other younger time. So boom, say if this mama died and then these cousins get into it, they just pass words, they end up saying F the mama or something. They probably don't get to fight or nothing like that, but people hold grudges for that. So forgiveness will probably be later down the line, a couple months go by or something like that, you'll go and forget them for what they said. Because they were mad, because they were speaking out of hurt. And you said, what else?
Release.
Release.
And let go.
Release probably would be like, I say release would be like, y'all been beefing type, just on social media or something like that. You just woke up one day and was like, nah, that's letting it go. Release would probably be like some little petty beef. Y'all were just passing words, and then you finally just said, I ain't beef with that nigga no more. So, now letting it go is when y'all done have some words, but they feel like it's getting hot. Like it's gonna get to that point where something's gonna happen. And you just don't let it go, be like, I'm gonna just stay away from around them, don't come around. Social media wise, don't say nothing to them, just let it go. Or something really you on tour with somebody, something like that, they hit you or something, they beat you up or something. You can have it in your heart. Next time I see him, I'm gonna kill him. And then you probably don't see him for a couple months. God probably separate y'all. So the third month, you probably be like, this your last call, you gonna go out and look for him. You don't find him this time, you gonna go and let it go. And you might not find him. And you gotta go and let it go. Be like, I ain't finna waste my life for that. You just go and let it go.
Okay. Good dialogue, man. You know what I'm saying? What about you? What does that look like for you in a situation like that where you done came face to face with conflict, right? You and somebody that has some words, but it don't turn into no physical altercation. What does forgiveness and releasing and letting it go look like for you?
I ain't no response back. I'm just let them say what they want to say. If they think I'm it, they just think that. Like, if I'm getting into my own family.
It don't. He put his own spin on it. I said a conflict with just another individual. It don't have to be no family member. It could be anybody that, you could be at school, in the neighborhood, at a basketball game, just anywhere in the community. But you and somebody had a disagreement. Y'all had words. And, the situation got heated far as back and forth, of exchange of words. But no physical contact was made. Nobody threw no punch. What does forgiving that person, releasing that situation, and letting it go look like for you?
Man, me, I'm just let it go. I ain't gonna argue with you. If you gonna stand on your words, it is what it is.
Right. Okay. What does it look like for you?
With me, I feel like my forgive and my release is tied into each other. Because with me and how I feel about forgiveness, I feel like anybody, it's really nothing too bad that can't nobody be forgiven for. It's okay if you don't forget it. It's okay if you don't forget what's been done. It's okay if you don't forget the damage that's been done. But I feel like everybody deserves their own forgiveness. So with me, if the situation ain't too bad, I feel like I forgive anybody, and maybe even if it was a petty altercation, I really want it to be a disagreement and hope that we could come on to terms that this is a mild disagreement and you feel some type of way, and neither one of us is wrong. But if I can't get thorough, if I do make it to that point, I just it's just letting everything go. It's just not how he said about holding a grudge. It's about not holding a grudge, because me personally, I started to feel like grudge create wrinkles in the skin. So just holding grudge and having something on the back of your mind like that, I really feel like you'll stress yourself out like that. So it's better just to move on with things, and it's kind of hard preparing for your future. If you got something that you're working towards, it's hard to work towards that when you still holding on to what's behind you. So in order to catch new bait, you got to release that old bait. So if you're going to let that same bait keep catching you, then you're going to forever be in that repetitive cycle, what we call right now in our society BS right now, because you just don't, it's just all about how you feel. I feel like it's about how you grew up being forgave. What was forgiveness in a home to you? What did forgiveness look like in your home? Because I messed up a lot, and my mom, she never made me feel like that I was wrong. Even when she told me, little baby, you wrong. She never made me feel directly wrong. I always felt that forgiveness from her. That's what always made me get up and go chase something new and try to do better.
Okay, that's what's up. What about you? What in a heated situation, you done had words with somebody. What does forgiveness, release, and letting it go look like to you?
I really don't even let little stuff get to you. If we just saying something that can't really hurt you, we don't really know nothing about you and stuff like that. So if it ain't touching you or nothing like that, you really good. Right.
Okay. So check this out, right? I heard what you're saying. So, but I understand and I know this culture, right? Y'all generation, y'all move a little different, right? So, okay, y'all had words. He said what he said. Basically, you give him a pass. You spin off. It ain't no smoke. Bam. Now, here come that same individual, right? that you done had words with, now he got 3-4 of his homies with him, and he push up on you. Now there go them words again. Now he's Superman. You know what I'm saying? He got an S on his chest. Now he tough, right? So what does forgiveness, release, and letting go look like? Because you just said, right, that the words don't hurt you. You're just gonna let them say what they gonna say, and you're gonna spank off. Now, here go that same person at a different time. He got a couple of his homies with him. What does that look like then? So see, I asked you that question and I painted that scenario for a reason, right? I want to know for myself, right? Talking to this generation, to this culture, right? Make me understand, because he got a few of his homeboys with him, and he popping off slick, right? What makes you feel like if you've already forgave him, released him, and let it go, what make you feel like now, because he got 3 or 4 dudes with him, you got to respond, you got to react, and you got to entertain what he's saying if he still hasn't put his hands on you? Either one of y'all can chime in, help me understand it, because he still ain't touch you.
The biggest thing that I would understand, like within this said situation, is 2 things I understand. One, just rolling up on me. If you gotta go get 4 of your homeboys to roll up on me, you might as well ask them which one gonna be your power bearer. That's the first one. And 2, it's just like you gotta understand, like if it take like my nephew, I'm gonna use my nephew in this for instance. My nephew 5'2", probably 120, soaking wet with cinder blocks. If somebody gotta go get 4 people for him, you know what you is. I ain't gotta tell you what you is. You know what you are. But like it's just like certain if you ain't put your hands on, they ain't putting their hands on me. I'm still just walk out. But it's just, like, cause one thing I know about being young, cause I've been there before, like how group temptation works. Like, D could be my homeboy, we might see the guy that was talking mess about me, and I might ask him, like, hey, Lil Greg, what you wanna do? Lil Greg might say, nah, fuck that nigga, he ain't working. So that's what the group gonna do. But if the group all say, shit, fuck it, let whoop his ass, shit, then you probably in for a nice ass whooping right now.
So the thing is, right, the one thing I want y'all to do, right, is master the art of listening. Again, I said he pulled back up with his 3-4 homies and he just lip boxing. Ain't nobody swung, ain't nobody touch you. You see what I'm saying? See, y'all ain't listening.
If I can say, that would come with lip boxing, who's to say just why he talking, and if you are ignoring him, like, what y'all want to do, like, those type of situations come from heated talking. Like, you gotta, it'll be selfish not to listen in the outcome that would happen in that type of situation, because you might be the bigger man and be like, man, what you talking about? I ain't worried about that. They're trying to walk off. Kids get harmed like that every day. It's every day that a child get harmed trying to walk off from a conflict. So if he rolled up with 3-4 more people, it's no telling what type of damage he was looking to come and do anyway.
I see your hand. So this is my thing, right? I'm willing to bet. I ain't got to Google it. I don't got to know the statistics or nothing, right? Yes, but I'm willing to roll the dice and bet, right, that an individual with 3 or 4 dudes with him, right, roll down on you, and he started lip boxing, right? And basically, you ain't going back and forth with him, and you keep it pushing. One thing I know, right, only a fool gonna sit up and argue with himself. Nobody's gonna sit up and keep arguing back and forth with somebody that's not arguing back, for one, right? For 2, right, a lot of times ego and pride and the fact that This culture, a lot of y'all is concerned and worried about what your peers gonna say or think and how you're gonna be viewed in these circles, you know what I'm saying, that you run in. But let me explain it to you though, right? Because you've been just as impacted. You've been incarcerated before, right? So all of those dudes, right? Because, you know, we just keeping the buck, right? All of those dudes that was in the game that you was in, right? That you was willing to ride and die for, right? When you got caught up and started doing that bid, how many times did they go by your mama house and see about mom dudes? I'm making a point. We're gonna keep it a book. How many times was them dudes that you were standing up for or you would have rolled with and you would have got out there BAD with, how many times did they make sure that you made commissary every week on that, you know what I'm saying, while you was laying down?
If I could tap on that one, I never really asked for much, but like my mom, she would say my homeboy, like the only one that I do associate myself with, like I don't associate myself with 20, 30 guys. It's just me and my one homeboy. That's it, that's all. But I ain't gonna lie to you, he do his part. He showed up.
That's one. But if you were affiliated in an organization, you weren't gonna just move for that one individual and sit here and tell me that if the rest of the gang had smoke with the ops, that you weren't gonna move with them.
I don't know the rest of the gang like that.
Come on, man. You're not. The thing is, right? I come from that gang life. I come from that gang culture, right? And there's some dudes that were part of the organization that I was in that I really didn't even like some of the dudes that was in my own organization. But if they got into it with the op, you feel what I'm saying? Regardless of how I feel about him, you know, we on the same team. I'm moving when he moving. You feel what I'm saying? And, you know, so like, you know, we got to play the situation out. Now, being older, being more mature, right? Looking at it, how I look at it now, like a lot of people ask me, man, how was you able to get out here and you once was a gangbanger and you was able to get out of the organization and it wasn't no problem, right? The one thing I know, right, when you make choices and you stand on them choices and you for real about what you doing, it ain't gonna be no problem because guess what? If individuals in my circle know that I'm hell-bent about walking the straight and narrow line, right? Is you finna go on a battlefield talking about going to war, talking about we finna go to a shootout with a dude talking about Romans 8 and 32? That's my point exactly. That's the answer. That's how I got out. When you start doing the right thing, people that still doing the wrong thing, they don't want you around because they don't feel comfortable around you. They don't feel like you're gonna stand up and do what needs to be done in order to protect their best interests and their well-being. You see how they look? You see what I'm saying? It's real easy, but it's about choices, right? The choices that we make, a lot of times the choices that we make, it'll dictate how other people move. You know, like, I've been home 14 years, right? Man, ain't nobody that I know from my past, when I was gangbanging and I was G'd in, ain't none of them came and approached me and tried to lock the G with me. Since 1983, I was a hustler. I sold cocaine, hydrochloride. That's all ever been in my jacket. To this day, I've been home 14 years. Ain't nobody gonna come and talk to me about that. Because people that know me know when I chose to do that, when I was with that, I was with it. And when I said I ain't with it, I ain't with it. Because the one thing individuals always knew, even in my organization, even in the gang that I was in, Brian think for himself. He think for himself. He a leader. He's not a follower, right? And that same mindset, that same concept, that's what I want y'all to understand, right? Because at the end of the day, whatever choice you make, whatever decision you make, ain't nobody gonna have to deal with the consequence but you. When you did whatever you did to get incarcerated, did anybody that was in your clique, in your gang, did they go to the penitentiary with you? And that's the thing, that's the whole thing in a nutshell. That's why in 14 years, right, I haven't had a passenger in my car other than my wife or my kids. You'll never see nobody in the car with me. Anytime you see me, I'm always be myself. Because you know what? I know I ain't gonna tell on myself. I know I ain't doing nothing to send myself to jail. I know I ain't gonna do nothing to be in conflict with nobody. So I ain't got no smoke. I ain't got to worry about nobody pulling up on me, shoot my car up because I got Leroy and Joe Blow in the car and he gang banging and he in tour with the whole city. You see what I'm saying? Now what he got going on that made itself, you know what I'm saying, that made its way to me. Now I'm in a situation to where now you done shot my car up shooting at him. Now you done disrespected me. Now I got to defend my property. You see what I'm saying? No, I ain't gonna have to do none of that. You stay over here and ride in your car, and I'm gonna stay over here and ride in my car. And a lot of times, man, y'all got to learn how to separate yourself from them circles, from them cliques, right? Because a lot of time, a lot of them dudes in them circles and them cliques that y'all be in, man, they playing two sides to the middle. A lot of them scared, you know, and when conflict come, when you said, man, let's squash it, they glad you said that, because they weren't ready to do nothing anyway. You know, I'm being for real. Like, I've seen it too many times. And I've seen the same dude that you be with, that you thought was tough, you thought was a gangster, you thought was a killer, under pressure in the interrogating room. Let me explain something to every one of y'all, something that I know for an absolute fact. A lot of these dudes ain't the same dude on the inside in that interrogating room when them doors closed that they is on the outside when they got their gun. I done seen a lot of shooters, when they get to the penitentiary, they go to PC when they ain't got their gun. They ain't shit. They cowards. Without their gun, they ain't gonna bust a grape in a fruit fight. That's the reality. But the thing is, what we trying to show y'all, what we trying to teach y'all, man, it's not about being the toughest guy. It's about being the smartest guy. And the smartest guy can walk away and leave a fool standing there lip boxing. Because the thing is, if a person wanted to do something to you and he got 4 dudes with you and he pull up top and he ain't want to do nothing anyway. You see what I'm saying? Because if he wanted to do something, he would have pulled up and took off. He ain't want to do nothing. He want them to stop him and grab him. Because what you talking about if you really wanted to smoke? You pump faking. You don't want to do nothing. You scared and hope. He hoping. Man, I hope Kamal, man, just don't brush up, man. You know what I'm saying? Cause I don't really want that problem. But he trying to shine and act like he tough cause he got these other dudes with him. But he been gossiping like a little girl to them about what happened between the argument with y'all. You see what I'm saying? He don't want that. All we telling y'all, man, is choose to live. Choose life over death, right? Man, it's easy to get in trouble, but it's hell to get out of trouble. You chase a chance. Chase, how you, 11? 11. Can you imagine at 11 years old, right? You're a pretty big kid, right? Can you imagine at 11 years old, you got to fight with somebody, right? Let me just show you how choices go, right? You got to fight with somebody. You're a big guy, right? You spring on him, you knock him out. He fall out. He hit his head, right? Have an aneurysm and die. Can you imagine that one choice, that one punch just cost you 51 years of your life living inside of a room the size of your bathroom with everything you got, clothes, shoes, taking a shower, ain't got another man in there laying on top of you, defecating, urinate, snoring, fart. Can you imagine that? One choice. You thought it was just gonna be a fight. Y'all had a misunderstanding. You sprung on him. You never would have thought that one punch would have turned into you having a homicide with it. You see how easy that is? You see how fast your life can get away from you? One bad choice. That's all it takes, man. One bad choice. And I sit around and I look at y'all, man. And I know it's rough. I know it's tough being young in this era, in this generation, right? I know it's a lot of temptation. I know it's a lot of challenges. Man, I know. But at the end of the day, man, I want y'all to be smart, man. I want y'all to live. You know, I don't want to see y'all laying in no penitentiary, talking about no 51 years. Or I don't want to see some of y'all, you know, don't live to become adults. Don't get a chance, you know, to spread your wings, to blossom and bloom, to become the best that you can be. Like, man, all of y'all have a future. All of y'all have an opportunity, you know, man, to grow up, to be successful, and to have, you know, all the great things that you aspire to have in life. All you got to do is make the choice. Make the choice to push the needle forward in a positive way. Everything that you do in the negative, if you take that same energy and that same mindset and put it over here in the positive, right? Man, it's going to push you past everybody else. It's all about a choice. You know, it's all about a choice. And I know that a lot of y'all going through a lot of things. As I look around this room, right, by a show of hands, I want to ask y'all something, right? Because grief is real, trauma is real, ACEs is real. Those of you that don't know what ACEs is, that's adverse childhood experiences, you know. And a lot of times when adults be talking to y'all, they be asking y'all, you know what I'm saying, different questions. But, you know what I'm saying? Man, listen, I want to ask a question, right? How many of y'all have been hurt by something and you still holding on to that hurt? How many of y'all got peers that y'all done seen that's been shot or done been killed and you still dealing with the grief from that? Raise your hand. So guess what? That lets me know, right, that another conversation needs to be had. And the conversation that needs to be had amongst us as black men, that a lot of time people make it seem like it's a negative stigma. It's called mental health, right? Mental health is real. Man, a lot of y'all is traumatized. A lot of y'all is grieving. A lot of y'all, you know, y'all emotions aren't regulated. And because of what has happened to you, what has happened in your life, what has happened in the environment around some of y'all, the reason why I be asking y'all to check in, right? Prime example, right? You're calm right now because you're in an environment around individuals that you know don't mean you no harm. You know we come in peace, right? But at the moment that you came out of that store and realized somebody had broken your car, right? And had stole that phone. 30 seconds after that, if a dude had came out that store behind that happening, you figuring that out, why you understand what I'm saying, at a one, what you think was gonna happen? You see what I'm saying? But that's what I be trying to show y'all, right? A lot of time if a person catch you slipping and catch you missing at a time to where you ain't at a 10, if you catch me and I'm at a 10, right? You might say something slick to me, I might, bruh, I ain't tripping. But like he said, he a 4. If I push up on him and catch him while he a 4, he low, something already happened. He already angry. He already mad at somebody else about a situation. The next person that come along gonna catch the backlash of the person that didn't get caught stealing that phone. That anger and that smoke that he got for that person that got away, you gonna catch it. You see how that look? But the thing about it is, that's why trauma-informed care, grief counseling, mental health is important. Because what it does is, it shows you how to regulate and take control of your feelings and your emotions so that that energy and those feelings that you had for the person that stole your phone, right? You learn how to subside those feelings when you come in contact with other people so that you're not taking out what was for somebody else on a person that hasn't done anything to you. Does that make sense? Y'all vibing with me? Y'all feel where I'm coming from?
Yes, sir.
So, you know what I'm saying? So I want to hear from some of y'all because I want y'all to understand one thing, right? We not just here as adults to do all the talking. This is a safe space, right? And we want to hear from y'all. If y'all got some issues and y'all got some things on y'all heart and on y'all mind, right? We want y'all to feel free to let it out, right? This is a place to unpack that trauma, that grief, that baggage, you know, that stuff that you've been holding in that you just, you know, you can't say nowhere else. You can say it right here. You can say it right here. You ain't going to be judged. You ain't going to be criticized. You ain't going to be ostracized. You know, you ain't going to get in trouble. You know, this is a place to where you can get the answers to a lot of the things that you've been spinning over and over and over in your mind and asking yourself. This the place to get it out. This the place to get it out. You know, so, you know, who got something that they feel like they want to discuss? You know, be quiet.
You move okay?
Huh?
You move okay?
So anybody got something that they got on their heart, they got on their mind that they want to put into the atmosphere, like that you feel like you might need some insight, you know? The reality is, like, let's just keep it a book, right? It's a whole lot of young men in here, right? And this ain't no jug at nobody. But everybody in here ain't got no dad at home. Everybody in here ain't got no positive male role model in the house that you can see what authentic manhood looks like on a day-to-day basis. Let's just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, there are some real men in your community that looks like you, that got enough love for you to where we'll help walk you through the steps of what authentic manhood look like, and you don't have to be our son. Because I don't look at now one of y'all no different than I would look at my own son, right? If I seen one of y'all, you know what I'm saying, struggling in an area that I was able to assist you in, guess what? You're going to get that assistance, little bro. You know, the information that you put out there on the table, you see how these other brothers that has already been in the environment that you about to go into high school, you see how these brothers were able to assist you and give you the information about what to expect, what to look for, and what choices and decisions that's going to be thrust upon you, and you're going to have to be able to decipher between the good over here and the bad over there. That's what this is about, man. You know what I'm saying? What those brothers showed you was brotherhood. That's what brotherhood is about. When you can come amongst your peers, amongst individuals, amongst other black men that look like you, that's going through the same dilemmas, the same dysfunctions, the same struggles every day. But by the grace of God, some of them have been blessed to be able to overcome some of them obstacles. And see, once you be able to overcome them obstacles, you know what you're supposed to do? It's just like you, right? A lot of these young brothers in this room, right, they younger than you. You done been able to navigate and overcome a lot of the struggles, a lot of the obstacles that a lot of these young brothers finna face. So basically what it looks like is this a wall. This that wall of oppression, right? You done climbed over that wall, right? And it's time for you to take that rope and throw it back over here to some of them so some of them can climb the wall. You see what I'm saying? You can't be no gatekeeper. You can't take the rope over with you and go on your way and forget about the young brothers, you know what I'm saying, that you left behind, like your little nephew, right? He done seen you go through things. He done seen you overcome things. You supposed to be the GPS for him, right? Then the little youngsters up under him, once you teach him, then he supposed to do like News Channel 3, he supposed to pass it on. You see how it go? It's a reciprocation, you know what I'm saying? It's an evolution, you know what I'm saying? Each one teach one. That's what we're here for, right? The crazy part about it is I'm much older than all of y'all, but when I come here, I get a chance to learn from y'all too. Y'all get a chance to keep me in tune, intact with what the culture look like, with the ebonics, with the slang, y'all be keeping me on game, you know. Then, you know what I'm saying, I catch y'all, you know. Now the one thing I ain't trying to catch, y'all with them skinny legs and shit, I ain't on that. OG ain't on that shit there. I ain't gonna do no skinny legs. Y'all got a different kind of swag, But as older men, right, we more mature about life, but that's because we made mistakes. But we can learn from y'all too, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. It's about brotherhood. And what brotherhood looks like is this gap right here in the table. Everybody around the table. If everybody around the table throw what they got in the pot and we stir that pot, we should be able to take what's in that pot and meet the needs of everybody around the table and still have something left over. All that is unity. You see what I'm saying? Everybody coming together on one accord, with one common goal, and that's to see each other win. Who don't want to see their brother win? You want to see your brother win? You want to see your brothers win? Man, I want to see all y'all win. Man, that's why I get up out my bed, you know what I'm saying, every other Tuesday and come down here to check in, to make sure that y'all good, to where if y'all done had some kind of issue and y'all need some instructions, some guidance about how to overcome those situations, man, that's what I come down here for. But not only every other Tuesday, man, everybody that done been in this circle, right? I done gave you my personal phone number. Man, that phone don't never go off, 24/7. I'm going to answer any time of the day, any time of the night. If you ever got in a 911 emergency situation, that's one number you can call. You ain't got to worry. Somebody's going to pick up, and that somebody's going to be me. So I don't want y'all to never feel like that these brotherhood healing circles that y'all come to, and we eat pizza and drink and juice, and y'all get a gift card and smash out, and man, hey, we'll see them in 2 weeks. No, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that, right? That's just like you finna graduate, right? I can't say that I love you and I care about your well-being if I don't first show you that I care, right? If you was to come to me and say, hey, Mr. Brian, I'm finna graduate, prom coming up, and pull me to the side and say, hey, man, but my mom and dad, they ain't just got it like that, right? And I ain't just saying it to you personally. I'm saying it to the whole circle. Guess what? I bet you everything you need for prom, you're going to get it. And it ain't going to be for show. It ain't going to be for me to tell nobody that I did it. But I got other real men that move and step like I move and step to where I can make a call, right? And say, hey, bro, got a young brother, man, that finna graduate and paid his dues, that made the sacrifice to get to the finish line. But he can't go to the celebration because he ain't got no tuck, right? Nah, you going, bro, and you gonna be sharp as Dick was when Hattie died. Like, real shit. Like, and I ain't just blowing smoke, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what real men is called to do. We supposed to stand in the gap for you. You know what I'm saying? It's called being a surrogate father, right? It goes beyond mentorship. When it's crunch time, it's the fourth quarter. That's when the surrogate father, man, show up, man, and make sure you make it across the finish line. Because that tuxedo and putting $100 in your pocket for you to enjoy yourself, go get you a steak dinner that one night, man, that could change the trajectory of your life forever. You hear me? So, to you young brothers that participate in sports, you know what I'm saying? Even you, bro, right? Going to trade school, right? Man, you get to trade school and you graduate, bro, guess what? Man, send me an invitation. One thing about me, man, I'm a world-class gentleman. I don't go nowhere empty-handed, right? I'm going to pull up and I'm going to celebrate you. I'm going to cheer for you. I'm going to be your biggest fan. I'm going to get real loud in there when you walk off the stage, right? Because that means something to me. You know why it means something to me? That's one less black man that didn't fall victim to the chain gang. That's a win for me, right? Man. That's a win for me, bro. Because I fell victim to it, right? For 17 years. Man, I don't want that for you, little homie. If it don't cost me but a couple $100 to keep you on track, to get you the things that you need to stay on the straight and narrow, man, I eat 200 every day. It's just some money. It ain't that serious, it's just some money. But if you got some money and you don't use that money to move the needle forward in somebody else's life, what's the use of having it? It's useless. Man, if you blessed and you ain't being no blessing to nobody, you know what that looks like? You got a closed hand. And if you got a closed hand, if ain't no blessing going out, can't none get in. That means you ain't no good steward. Why would God keep blessing you if he can't bless you? It don't make sense. That means that the blessing flow stops when he bless you. That's why a lot of people don't get blessed. Because they selfish. You feel what I'm saying? So I just want y'all to know, man, you know what I'm saying? Man, we love y'all, you know what I'm saying? We want to see y'all win, man. We want to see y'all succeed. I'm talking about the right way. We got y'all back.
I had something that I had wanted to ask, but I was going to let you.
No, go ahead, bro. Hey, it's open flow. We want y'all to talk.
I wanted to ask you for, like, because I never really got a chance to ask you yourself personally. At what point did it change for you, and what made you take the New Path of Life series rather than your old life? Because you had two choices. You had two choices you could have made. You could have said, hey, I want to keep right here, or I want to change. What happened, or what point of life did it hit that made you take what you doing serious?
You want me to be honest with you?
And the reason why I would like to know, because as I shared in one of our recent groups, like how we look at how clean some of the guys that's dope dealers in the hood or the neighborhood is, and that drives this motivation for someone to want to go down that path and sell dope like them. You're a pretty nice and sharp guy yourself, so I was wondering, like, at what point did it change you, and what made you go out there and chase what you chased?
What made me chase it when I chased it, or what made me change? Or you want to know both?
I want to know it all.
So basically, right, exposure, the environment that I was in, right? And for the record, bro, I'm from the poorest zip code in this city, 38126, right? I'm from the Claiborne Foot Home Housing Project, right? So basically 45% of the individuals in my community live below the poverty line. So the only thing that I seen that looked like success was dope pushers, robbers, boosters, you know what I'm saying? That's all I ever seen. Every negative attribute that you could possibly think of, that's what I was exposed to. That's what I saw every day, right? So at an early age, man, I fell in love with instant gratification, right? I was a straight A student in school. You know, I was a 3-sport athlete. You know what I'm saying? I boxed, I'm Golden Glove champ, all of that, right? But it was taking too long, right? My sister got murdered when I was 17, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so my mom had a 6-month-old baby and my 5-year-old niece. My mom had been in the streets my whole life, right? My mom never worked a job my whole life. And she squared up and gave her life to Christ. Now she's stuck with the grief from losing a daughter and 2 small kids to raise, right? At 17, you know what I'm saying? I had already been in the game 6-7 years, but I stepped up and took on the initiative to raise my niece and my nephew, you know what I'm saying? But I was in love with the money. I was in love with the fame. I love nice cars. I love big jewelry, you know, and I like to get fresh. I had a fetish for clothes. That was my thing, you know what I'm saying? But my why, when I went to the penitentiary this last time to the feds, bro, my why was, every time before then, I went to the penitentiary, I wasn't hurting nobody but Brian. You feel what I'm saying? I ain't have no kids. This last time I went, my baby mama was pregnant with my first son. And I laid in that holdover at Mason and said, I want better for my son. In order for me to want better for my son, I had to change my mindset. I had to change the trajectory of my life, because I understand that every male child want to be like his daddy, whether it's in the negative or the positive. So in order for me to expect for him to change, I knew I had to come out here and change. The thing is, Young men do what they see you do, not what they hear you say. So for me to tell him, don't be no gangbanger and don't sell dope, and he see me with my bandana in my back pocket, and he see me with a triple beam and putting bricks on the scale, what you think he gonna do? So the thing is, I took the excuses off the table for him, right? By the grace of God, I thank God, bro, that I did change. My son, 25 years old, he's never been in a police car, never been suspended from school. My son is a diesel mechanic right now, living in Dallas, married with 3 kids at 25 years old, right? Make $40 an hour, you hear me? I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him. But you know what? I pat myself on the back too. I'm proud of myself because it took a real man to say, hey man, he deserves better than what you had to go through. So I had to make the sacrifice in order to make a way and a path for him to have a better life by me modeling what real authentic manhood looked like to him. And guess what? He a hell of a father now too. And he a hell of a husband, right? He a better husband than I was at his age. Because I went through marriage twice before I started figuring it out and getting it right. Because I was still caught up in the world. Christian, got his head on straight. I'm proud of him, you know what I'm saying? That was my why, man, because I didn't want him laying in the penitentiary like me. I done seen a lot of young men laying in the penitentiary in the cell with their dad. Man, when I came home, that's the first thing I told my son. I said, son, let me explain something to you. I seen him on a picture one time with some of his cousins. Because my son, he was exposed to the environment, bro. His grandmama lived at 3314 Spring Valley Cove. And I seen him one time on a picture. And all of his cousins were Spring Valley Mafia. And I pulled up on him and I put him in the reverse chicken wing. I put one of my arms behind the back of his neck and my forearm up under the front of his neck. And I picked him up about 3 inches off the floor and I choked him until he turned blue. And I told him, if you're going to be out here gangbanging or you're going to be out here selling dope, I brought you into the world. I'm going to kill you myself. And the look that I had in my eyes, he knew that I meant that. I've never had no more problems out of him since. But I had to display tough love because he was the reason why that I changed. So if I change to make sure you have a better future, ain't no way I'm going to sit back and watch you flush your life down the drain. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel the same way about y'all, right? My son gone, so I ain't got no son in the city. So guess what? When I see y'all, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at an opportunity to be a dad again. You see what I'm saying? That's what this is about. My son, he made the right choice. And I'm not saying that all of y'all in here are bad or all of y'all are making bad choices. But this ain't just about intervention. This is about prevention. Some of y'all is on the right road. And we want to make sure that you stay on the right road and make sure that you understand that, hey, you don't have to choose the other side of the track to have nice things. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to do what I did when I was your age in order to get these nice things. No, it's a better way. I want to show you what I learned on the back end, on the front end, right? I don't want you to have to go through the consequences that I had to go through and endure before I learned the lesson. See, I was hard-headed. I wouldn't listen. The one thing I ask y'all, man, I beg y'all with tears in my eyes, man, master the art of listening, man. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And a lot of times what y'all don't understand, if you talking while I'm talking, that means that you ain't listening. That means that you listening to respond rather than listening to obtain and receive the message that I'm trying to give you to apply it and to implement it in your life, right? Communication, right? Assertive communication is where one person talks and the other person listens. Then y'all reverse roles. Then you talk, then I listen. That's why when you say, hey, I want to say something, I want to ask a question. You see what I did? That's what you call respect. And that's another thing that y'all got to learn, right? It don't make you weak. It don't make you no sucker. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing weak about respecting another man. Because in order for you to respect somebody else, that means you respect yourself. You see what I'm saying? Because you can't give, right, what you don't have. But respect begets respect. Anywhere in the world I've ever been, man, you know what I'm saying? I can get off the bus anywhere in the world, anywhere I've ever been, I'm a man by myself. And anywhere I go, I'm going to bring respect to the table. Any city I've ever been to, I go straight. LA, Chicago, New York, I go straight to the project because that's where I'm from. I'm from the gutter. I'm from the bottom. I feel safe there. I feel comfortable there because that's who I am. All of this is a shell. At the end of the day, like I said, I'm from the gutter. I'm from the poorest zip code in the city. I know what it feels like to be at the bottom. But that's my motivation, right? Once you make it from the bottom, you never want to go back. Ever. I want to go back, but when I go back, I want to go back to bring somebody else to the top with me. I never want to go back to live. I never want to go back to stay. So that's, that's definitely my why. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely my why. You got something you want to share? Come on, share, little bro.
When you talk about like getting into it, like to keep stuff forward in the child. You like if you beef with somebody, and you still gotta see them, you still gotta associate yourself with them. You still you family. So I gotta see you sooner or later. But when I see you, I feel like we should just talk it out. We should we should talk it out.
Right.
We don't beef about it. We just squash it. We just talk it out. We don't got to do all this fight. But if it gets to that point, it's going to happen. But I feel like that's how it should be.
And the thing is, I agree with you, right? Because conversation rule the nation, right? And a lot of times, it's just how you conversate, how you communicate, that's going to determine the outcome of the situation. And a lot of times, when you're humbled in a situation, in an altercation, man, that don't make you weak. That make you smart. Because it's better for them to say, there you go, than there you late. It's been a whole lot of people got puffed up in pride and let their ego and their feelings got in the way and their thinking. And that's why the graveyard, you know what I'm saying, is so full now. You feel what I'm saying? So, man, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, I appreciate y'all, and I want to, before we close out, I want to give any of y'all an opportunity. Before we close out, y'all want to share something. Y'all, all hearts and minds clear. What you got, Sid?
Did you ever go to jail or prison?
I did. For a long time. For 17 years, I did. And that's why I understand the monster and the beast, in the jungle of prison. And that's why I want to try to keep all y'all from going to an environment in a place like that. You feel me? Yeah.